and welcome back to another episode of Hot Girl Talks with Indiyah and Zeze and me, Shayna Marie. Quick intros. Indiyah, do you want to go first?
My name is Indiyah. What should I say about myself?
You can say anything you want, honey.
My name is Indiyah Polack, and it's nice to be on your screens again.
Amen. Zeze.
I'm Zeze Millz, and yes, it's nice to be back. Thanks for listening to the last time, because that's the only reason why we're back, to be fair.
Honestly, I was shocked when we got to they liked it.
I know, it's like, people listened, okay.
It's going off. They want to see the hot girls talk.
Okay, it's giving trio.
Honestly,
Right,
I am Shayna Marie,
right.
so welcome back to Hot Girls Talk. Today, well, this month, it is International Women's Month, and the theme for this year is Accelerate Action. So today we are talking about gender equality, how we're driving towards that, and what building a legacy as a woman looks like to us.
Okay.
So let's get into these things.
Giving deep dive.
It's giving deep talk.
I know,
and
right?
It's giving. Do I even know what I'm talking about?
Hello.
Like, am I the one that you want to take advice
This
from?
is what I was thinking. But do you know what? We're all learning and living.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's better this kind of like level.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I listen to Beyonce talk, I'm like,
I don't have the same
right.
things as you.
Or
same
like, you know,
resources.
like if you just move this, well, Beyonce never really talks about money.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, those type of people that are like really there, they're like, yeah, because if you just financially, you're like, girl,
Yeah.
you ain't worried about nothing.
Got no problems, no
literally.
issues.
But I feel like even with us, like even coming into finance, and then like even before this, we're quickly talking about like money management, and it's like you could have money, but just to have money, don't mean I'm the one for the advice.
Right.
I mean, I know what the hell to do with
Girl,
it.
I just bought a Chanel bag, man. I shouldn't have.
And Karen's calling your phone like,
I saw that.
oh
I saw the unboxing.
It was really,
it's
it was
very
worth
sweet.
It. Nearly
Is it
missed the
cute?
flight, but she's so cute.
Is it?
Yeah, she's very
goodness
cute.
sake,
Yeah.
that would have been more money spending if you did miss
in
the
true
flight.
Indiyah fashion. But I made it, so. I wanted to
Okay,
win.
let's start then with how each of us approach financial independence. And do you believe it's in? Well, I think this is a given, but how much do you believe then it is important for women to take control of their own finances? Because I feel like we all believe that is very important.
Yeah.
100%. You should take control of your own finances. I know we're kind of in this like era at the moment of, you know, we want the man to pay for everything, and as long as you've got, then But I do think it's really important that you have your own like financial freedom. Obviously, it's nice if somebody can cater to your living and whatnot. I would love that. I'm not going to say, I'd be lying if I was like, no, I don't want to pay for me for nothing. But there is something freeing about having my own financial freedom. And also that way, no one can really twang you.
Yeah.
That's what I think as well. I think, so, especially for the young ladies, I want to say, like, when you have your own, no one can twang you. No one can make you feel as if I get you this, now you owe me this, or now I have this control over you. And if I'm going to buy you this, it's like, no, bro, I can buy my own thing. So now, just because you're buying me that doesn't mean you can treat me like this. So, and just for life as well, so you can go on holiday, experience things, you know? I think it's really important.
I agree. And like touching off what you said, I think it's also when it comes to living for yourself, like my mom's always told me never put yourself in a position where you're financially dependent on a man, because it's just sort of like, now when the man's gone, what are you gonna do?
Right.
You know? And I feel like it's very important in your young years, older years, to be very selfless and to take time for yourself, because you were born in this world alone. You're gonna die alone unless you're married or whatever. But you need to have,
alone.
you know what I mean? Like, you're going in that casket. It's important to work hard if you saved up, so you can actually get things that you want to do, and you know, just have that sort of, okay, I'm giving back to me, you know, and feel good about it, and not have that like guilt as in, oh, I can't be free because I'm depending on someone. Because it's never a nice feeling.
So how do you approach that? How do you get to that position of financial independence, of being like, oh, I've got my own, this is important to me? Like, what are there steps? Are there things that we can do?
I feel like it's a tough one, but I think for me personally, I always try and have like a goal that I'm working towards. And I feel like when it comes to goals and things that you want to do in life, these are usually very personal.
Yeah.
So like if there's something that I want to hit by the end of the year or end of the month, it's never really about the other person, it's about me. And it's about how I'm going to get there. Obviously, it's dependent on everyone's different situation, like where you are in life, what kind of job you have right now. Some people's goals are bigger or smaller, but I think as long as you're working towards something and you're doing the best you can to get there, even if it's something as simple as saving £5 a week so you can get, I don't know, your favourite dress at the end of the week. I feel like that's still training yourself to do something for yourself and placing your money, your hard-earned cash, to do with what you want.
You can like come on socials and people be like, oh yeah, I've saved this much, or I've done this much, and I was able to buy my first house at this age because I saved that much. I think it's very important as well to kind of, what you're saying is to have your own goals. It's very hard to not get that outside noise in, and then you're comparing yourself to what other people are doing. But like you're saying, you don't know what people's financial situation. They could be getting money from somewhere else or whatever, and you don't know, and that's what they're doing. But you have to just know, this is what I would want to do. Like Indiyah said, even if it's just like a little £5 a week, I'm going to put that away. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to save to this. Even if it's, I'm saving to go on holiday, I'm saving to buy this, or I'm saving to put this towards something or a car later on. It all, you know, amounts up. So just, I would say, watch your own self. Don't watch everyone else, because I think when you start watching everyone else's pocket, that's when you can start feeling inferior, or like you're not doing enough, or you haven't reached a certain goal.
Even you were touching on talking about, you'll hear people saying, oh, I bought my first house at 20. No shade, it's very unrealistic. And I'm not even trying to be a Debbie Downer, but like going from someone who went from a 9 to 5, burn up into industry, I've come into different walks of life of money. I understand what it's like to have a very regular wage to then not. Even me not having a regular wage, I'm still looking at certain things like, you're joking.
Right.
Like, what? You know? So like, I feel like it's very important to live within your own means, not compare yourself to other people, and do what you can. And don't feel like, I know I'll come on the internet, and like, I'm very like mindful, but like, I know I'll come on the internet and show certain things, but I know it's very unrealistic. It's realistic for me, but on the grand scheme of things, it is unrealistic. And I don't expect it to be like that for everybody, but I think it's a very big thing to actually like live within your means, work within your means, and do what works for you. Save for yourself and what you can and cannot afford.
Unless you've been through it.
I feel like you almost have to go through it. Then you realise. Because growing up, one thing is so interesting, because my mum is so good with money. Like my mum is good at saving, always been like, she's all, and for some, well, not for some, maybe, I always say, because I think she was so good at it, I'm not the best at it. Like, and then also talking about when you do start coming into money, if you didn't make loads of money before. So when I started making loads of money, my accountant literally said to me, I don't know how you were surviving on the money that you used to make. Like, he said that to me.
I can relate to
he
that.
was like, because I used to do 9 to 5, and he was just like, how was you surviving? And I was like,
okay, did you go for a period, right? So you've gone from 9 to 5, you're now coming into big monies, and then you're looking at how much you're spending in a month. And then I'm like, why am I spending this much in a month when my salary, I didn't even make that in a year.
Right.
So if I went from earning that in a year, why the hell are you spending this in a month? You're doing too much.
It's like insane. Literally.
But then I was in a position where I was like, I don't need to spend this much in a year, but some reason it's this number, and I promise everything I bought this month, I promise I need it.
I need it.
I promise but it's just
it's a very, that was quite interesting to me, because I was like, why am I? But I think it's that thing of of just coming in
and just being
that financial freedom of like, oh wow, I've got this disposable cash now. I can do this. Actually, if I wanted to buy this, I can buy it.
That part is fine, because I think there should be some level of, wow, I worked for this, and now I'm seeing the benefits. I should be able to spend my money, and like go a bit crazy for like whatever it's, a couple of months or I don't know, whatever. But then you need to be able to rein it back in.
You need to
rein it back in, and then balance yourself out, because the period of spending, and you're like if you keep doing that, then it's like crap. But I think it's good to be able to like enjoy the fruits of your labor.
100%.
And then just find your like nice balance. I think we all probably did the same.
The
first paycheck, and it's like a couple months, and you're like,
first paycheck, you're like, I'm a superstar.
I was like, what? First year, I was like, what? You want to come on holiday? Let's go. What, you want me to pay for you? Sure.
Outside.
What you doing? Let's go. You know what I mean? What, you want to come? You need an Uber? I'll send the Uber.
It's
like, you're just
you need an Uber? Let's go. You said we're outside.
Like, but also, it's nice though, because you get to treat your friends and your family. And that feeling in itself is such a beautiful feeling. Like that feeling of, oh, I can help somebody, or I can treat my friends, or I can treat my family, I can treat my mom, I can do this. It's such a nice warming feeling.
How important is it for you to have a female team or a strong female representation around you? And in what ways would you say this has benefited you?
Good question.
I only have one male on my team.
Working team.
Yeah, as in like I have one manager, he's a man, and then the rest is like women.
Yeah.
So down to like what hairstyle normally, but no, sometimes no. Like actually, there's a lot of male hairstylists actually. So my hairstylist, my MUA, I guess my accountant is a man, but I really do woman. My lawyer is a woman. Like I try to keep it, you know.
Yeah.
I like that feeling because it's just you need that energy around you. You need to, because I think, and for me especially, like having other black women around me, because I feel protected. I feel like you're always going to have my best interest, that you understand me, but also not just that, I also, because some people think, oh, you only have like a black team, but I do, well, like one of my managers is white, and I like that because she understands me, so she's protects me as well. You know what I mean? And I do think, unfortunately, as a black woman, sometimes you're not understood in certain places, and it's nice to have somebody on your side that, in a weird way, which is so weird to even say, that people might look at and be like, oh, okay, we understand, or she looks like me, so I can relate to her.
She's saying it.
Then, you know, but I know that Karen always has my back, if that makes sense.
So they make Karen.
Her name is Karen. And she's the best person ever.
We
but
love
she
you, Karen.
honestly, she hates that her name is, she doesn't like, I know.
What a wrong time to be Karen.
I know,
annoying.
but she's like the least Karen person ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, like, yeah. But I think it's very important to have different nationalities around you as well, races, sexual orientation, because you're then not going to be ignorant as well to what's going on in the world. So yeah,
as someone who went from when I first started in like my career, I had like a male team. That's because I knew them for long and I trusted them.
Right.
And they'd been like around in my journey from when I was like 21. So I kind of like progressed through with them, and they were great. Like, and then I got to a point when I was like, I kind of need I need some girls, because there's like little things, like there wouldn't be enough time for me to do my hair and makeup
because they don't get it.
There wouldn't be enough time.
Simple things like that,
tiny little things that I'm like, oh, but I just need someone to get that. Like, if I'm coming from this job to this job, I can't get ready in the car, like, or I can't be just come ready, or if I have to like reshoot things. My hair's changed, you know, from that last month's shoot, so we need to budget to do my hair again. So it's like little things, and I was like, okay, I think I kind of want females, or I need females around me. So then I got with a new team, and that's made the world of a difference in just feeling safe, in just feeling protected, in feeling like they have my back, not just me as work or X, Y, and Z, but just me as like a girl. Like I'm actually just a girl. Like I'm just a baby girl. Like I just want to like live my life, make some money, whatever. So I think that's been like a massive moment for me in realizing like, yo, we're actually sick. Because women will fight for you in ways that men, not that they won't, I just feel like women just do it better. And I think we're a bit smarter. I think we're just all rounders, and I think I'm very big as well on having strong women around me. So I'm very I love my friends to death, like, and they all inspire me. We champion each other heavy. Like, I think they are a great bunch of people. So being around them as well, I'm like, yo, man, like, you guys are all doing amazing things. Like, and depending on what it is in whatever industry, like I got friends who work in schools. I got friends who do similar things to what I do. I got friends who are influencers. I got friends who do so many ranges of different things. But like to see them all excel and like be happy and work super hard, it's like, how can I not want to win when all my girls, all the people around me are doing great things. So it's just women on your team, women in your corner. If you're a man and you've got a good woman at home, like, what successful man doesn't have a good woman at home?
Clock it.
Like, they pretend that distraction, whatever.
In terms of like representation, I think it's very nice to like see women in big powerful spaces and doing things, and not always having well, it was a man that got her here, or she had a male manager, or only guys can do these things. Even like we're on the digital team, we're into radio, TV presenting, all that kind of stuff. To know that we are breaking boundaries and being like the first women to present these kind of shows and do these kind of things and to be in these kind of spaces. I think it's very important, and I think it's important for the lovely younger girls that are looking up to us, because as cliche as it sounds, when I was like 10, there was no TV presenter I was looking up to saying, hey, maybe I could be her one day. Do you know what I mean? Influences, yes, but I don't feel like there was like concrete like enough. So I feel like the more people that do it, the more women that get into certain spaces, I feel like it's just kudos to the generations that come and
100%.
come and come.
Well, for me, I think it's very nice to see people becoming mothers and still doing what they do.
Yeah.
Like I've seen recently in the last, like one of my managers just had a baby, and then I'm like, you're just
still doing
it. Like,
it.
wow.
Yeah.
No.
Like 3 of my friends have had babies. One's having a baby, like one's expecting, and I'm like, and you guys are bloody amazing.
Yeah,
like you
it's
guys
insane.
are like actually killing it, and it's lovely, because I don't know about you guys, but with our jobs it's a bit like, so if I take time off, then I have maternity leave.
Yeah.
Because I'm a freelancer, so I can't. So if I take time off work, I've got to then get back into it as quick as possible, because I'm gonna lose jobs.
But you've
or
also
I'm
got to
gonna-
be a mother. You got to look after
I
a
also
baby.
want to be a mum. I want to enjoy the time. I want to enjoy this new life change of mine. So yeah, I think that part of it as well is super inspiring. Seeing women around in work, becoming mums, like excelling that, still working, still if they don't want to work anymore, it's like they've changed their mind. They're going this way now. So yeah, it's just in every way possible. It's
when I see my friends with children, I'm just like, I don't know how you guys do it. And I don't know. I don't know if that makes me think, I don't know if I could do it.
I feel like it's different. It has to happen to you for you to like realize, because obviously I feel like we all know, like, not everyone, but when you do fall pregnant, you just get that paternal, you know,
like,
that what did you call it?
Unwavering love.
Unwavering love, like it's
my
nothing you
life
felt
now.
before.
This is everything to me.
Like that's easy for us because we don't have babies right now.
Well, then
Right
you're
then.
maybe it's possible.
Yeah.
Not me comparing the baby to the dog. But I'd see on the socials, people prefer dogs over humans.
Yeah.
I see like little babies hating dogs sometimes, in the comments like, why would you let the baby do that to the dog? I'm like, oh my God, that's a human being there as well.
People are really passionate about
They
it.
are passionate.
You should teach your child how to touch a dog properly. It's like,
so passionate.
for a dog,
Yeah.
hey.
They're
So
really-
dog. It's
Yeah.
like,
louder.
I think we was talking about this earlier, but how do you balance enjoying your life today while planning for the future?
I do not.
I
Yeah.
do not.
Like,
I try to. I just hope, in my head, I'm just like, I just hope I'm still lit.
yeah.
And I'm getting
Yeah.
booked.
Do you know,
I'm still
I feel
lit.
like it's a very tough one, because I was like having a conversation with my friend yesterday, and we were catching up on life, like how we first met, and like reminiscing on when we were like uni days, going to uni parties, doing all these things, and we're like, look at us now. Like 5-6 years ago, did we think we'd be sitting here now having dinner, talking about life, reminiscing on everything?
Yeah.
And it kind of put into perspective that by God's grace, in another 10 years, we're going to be talking about the dinner that we had today and all the things that were happening in
And
between.
everything will be fine.
And everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Because when I was 20, stressing about the
Literally,
boyfriend that I left on red,
Yeah.
No,
it's
it's
not
so
a big deal
true.
today.
It's
not a big deal anymore.
So I feel like you do just have to like live in the moment. Don't be silly. Take everything with a pinch of salt, but have faith that everything will be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
On the flip side to that,
Uh-huh.
I feel as if, because I've always in my head thought everything was going to be fine, that is why I make dumb financial decisions.
Yes, you have to be somewhat
Because
like,
I will be, my mum has always been like, you need to save. And always in my head, I've always just thought, I will be okay. Like, I'm going to be okay. Even, I don't have no money in my savings at the time, but it's like, I'll be fine.
Figure
And
it out.
then I've been fine.
Yeah.
But I've always, but I know that's hella irresponsible
Yeah.
to think like that. But
You always
Yeah.
just
that's
like,
how
I'm
I
gonna be fine.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I do try to. Do you know what I try to always also think about? The feeling that I had when I wasn't financially secure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to make that mistake again.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, you know, like we were saying earlier about when you do get the shitloads of money and then you end up spending more than you probably should, that is probably the learning point where you're like, okay, when I make my next big lump of some money again,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that, because I remember the feeling of like, oh, maybe I've spent a bit too much now, and maybe
Yeah.
I'm a little bit sticky now. And then so for me, it's always kind of just remembering, okay, I remember how it felt. I remember how anxious I felt. I remember I don't want to feel like that again. And that's how I usually
100%.
balance it out.
That's a good
Just
way
try
to get around stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everyone's
Yeah.
had probably like hard times in financially or personally or whatever. And if you're like doing better, you can always reminisce and be like, yo, that time was hard. So let me make sure I can do everything I can
To
do
not-
to
yeah.
not go back there.
Yeah.
Because you want to enjoy, you want to live in the moment, you want to like you've worked hard for your money, you want to spend your money and go on the holidays and X, Y, and Z, but there has to be some level of like, damn, I can't go
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
I can't go all the way back there. So
Yeah. And I think when you're living in that moment, when you are now out of like the financial rut that you were in before, you can only reminisce. But if it's not happening like often, it's very easy for you to forget about it.
Yeah,
So you have to
yeah.
actually like discipline yourself to be like, look, I'm not invincible. Shit can happen. That could be out of my control.
Yeah,
You know, and I think that kind of learning can be put in every aspect of life. Even when it comes down to work, getting stuff done. Like even like, for example, with me, I remember my first year when I did Mobos, everyone was telling me like how good I did. I hated it. I hated it because I had no training. I felt like I went in there on the deep end and I just felt like for such a big show, I don't want to feel so naked. So this year when I did it, I got presenter training, I did everything, and I came off that stage at the end of the show and I felt fantastic. But you need to like make sure you feel like good for yourself.
yeah.
And like there's this one cliche saying that my mum always says, and it's like if you fail to prepare to fail.
Right, yeah.
And I use that with everything. Like when people say like, oh, are you nervous to go on stage? I'm only nervous if I've not rehearsed enough.
Right.
Because if I've done all I can, I just have to give it my best go.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's always just making sure like you cover all aspects of everything before you chuck yourself into things. And whatever happens after that, leave it alone.
Yeah,
leave
it
it alone.
is true. It is what it
Yeah.
is. I do want to ask you guys, so that was obviously a successful moment for you. But what does success as a whole look like for you? How can you define that in different areas of your life? Like, how would you define success? It's a hard one because how do you just put success equals
and it depends what you're striving for. Like everyone's version of success is completely different.
Yeah.
Some people's success is getting an A star on their GCSE or I don't know, getting your first job or just waking up in the morning and having breakfast.
Yeah.
Like success is very different to everyone. So I think first and foremost is knowing what it means to you and what your goals are. All three of us are.
And it might change as well. It will change. I don't think, like Indiyah's saying, at 18 your version of success is not going to be what your version of success is at 35. So for me, it's success for me, I think, is being able to live comfortably.
Okay.
I feel that if I can live comfortably in life, I feel like I've hit some level of success.
But comfortable, what's comfortable? Like comfortable how?
Like I can live a life that I would like to live.
That you choose.
That I choose to live.
Yeah.
Do you know? And that obviously comes off some sort of financial freedom. And that financial freedom would come from getting jobs and being booked or, you know, things selling or products selling or whatever. So that would be my indication of success. Like, okay, I'm living a life that I would like to live because this is coming in and it's allowing me to live this life.
Yeah, living a life that I have chosen, living a life that was meant for me, like in the best way. So whatever it is that I've done to get there, well, maybe that's not right because I could sell my crutch and that's not why I wanted to be successful. But
then you wouldn't feel
that's not.
That's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
You
that's
wouldn't
true.
feel like you've been successful.
Because it's like that's not what that's not aligned with me.
And
That's
I think
not.
maybe as well, it's the level of feeling content within yourself.
Yes, I agree with that.
think if you feel like, you know, and that's not to say if you do want to do whatever.
Yeah, it's like
To
it's
do,
your
then
own
that's
personal.
your
yeah.
like we were saying earlier. But whatever makes you feel like I'm at ease, I don't feel like I've sold my soul, whatever that means, or I've compromised myself. Or there will be times when you have to compromise, but as long as it's not compromising yourself fully and you're still living the life you want to live, I think that is kind of like what you're saying.
Yeah. Because you can have a successful day in just like you've woken up, you've gone to work, you had a nice lunch, you phoned your friend, you got home safe, you watched your show.
And
you
that
went to
is
bed.
a successful
And that's
day.
like, that's perfect success because you did the things that you wanted to do. You if making money is important to you, you went to work, you made your money. You made a connection with a friend, like you had some good social interaction. go to bed
Yeah.
content, and it's like, do you know, that's a successful day.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I feel fulfilled.
That's it.
I feel covered. I feel like I've done what I need to do today. So it's just about like getting the things that you want in life and feeling satisfied and content within.
Yeah, I agree. I think all of those words, having a sense of, satisfaction, content, fulfillment, feeling like you are where you need to be. But me also, I would add in there a little bit of like experience. Like I feel most successful when I can say that I've done X, Y, and Z and learned something from it.
Right, nice.
Especially if it's going in the direction that I want it to. So like I'd like to know that, okay, I've done this, it's led me to do this, but I'm successful because I've used all of these to the best of my ability, and I can take something from each of those experiences. And then chuck some money and financial support.
That's really good learning.
Right.
Something as well. We learn, we make some money, we go bed happy.
We go back and we cheers at the end of the time.
It's not bad. It's actually right.
Question. Who are some of the women who have inspired you in your journey towards success? Now, whether this is in a financial or anything in particular, and what or who first shifted your mindset and set you on this path?
For me, there have been different stages financially.
Okay.
So when I first started when I was maybe like 22, I was doing this thing called the Big Clash game show, and we'd go around like universities and put on a game show and XYZ, and I got money from presenting that. Right. And it was like small money.
I think I remember hearing about that. Yeah, like when I was in school, I remember the Big Clash being a thing.
Yeah, it was like it was like a big uni game show, and it was so much fun. We travel everywhere, and then I started presenting that, and I got like paid from that, and it was small money, but it was extra money. Right, so it was like, okay, this is money. This is great.
And you do something you liked,
and I had the best time ever. So I was like, this is money that I'm getting paid for having fun. Great. Wow. And I remember I had a friend who was a bit older. She's still my friend now. I say had a friend, and she actually is one of the people in my life who have showed me a lot of things. And I think because she's a bit older than me, it's been nice to like see her. And she'll do things and she'll teach me. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Right. Like, okay, now I get to learn from your, like, how you did it. So I remember she was just onto me about, like, savings and, like, putting money aside and da-da-da-da. And because I had this extra bit of income, I was like, well, I never had it before, so this can go to savings. Right. Yeah. This is like new money, and I don't really need it because I've been surviving barely.
See, I'm like, extra money? Let's go. Girl, we ordered takeaway tonight.
No, she was quite good with me, that being like, all right, cool, so you've been surviving on this money already. This money is extra, you don't need it. Like, obviously it'd be nice, but like, and it's quite small, it's not going to change your life. Right. So you can put it somewhere and not look at it for a little bit. So I think that was my first glimpse of like, oh, okay, this is how you deal with things properly, or like deal with things like sensibly. And then as I got a bit older, then I was just like, you know what, whatever, like money, whatever, come in, go in, whatever. And I think in very recent times, I feel like I've seen quite a lot of people on social media. So this girl called Finance Matters UK, her name is Fizz.
Just remember her.
Did you remember her?
Clark.
Oh, well done.
You've been trying to think that.
Well done.
Yes. I hope it's Clark anyway.
I hope it's Clark. She came on our show recently as well, talking about money at the beginning of the year. And I think people like her and things like that just get me like in the zone of, okay, I should do better.
Was she the dancing girl who was that day?
Before you.
Yeah. Okay.
So when she came in, and she's just talking, and
I really admire people like that.
Oh,
it's so interesting.
Wish I could be like that.
I wish. She's so
genuinely
smart.
wish I could.
I'm gonna
be
watch
like
all her videos. I need to just have.
She's really good.
Yeah.
But also, this is her job. Like, she is an accountant.
Right.
So, like, it is her general interest, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to look at people like that who give you like free game, free life.
There's a lot of free game out there, you know.
Free game
and we're just saving them on TikTok.
I'm just putting it in the little save button and moving on with our day. No, watch the videos. We need implement the advice.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think financially, I remember my friend tossing when I was like a lot younger, and then in recent years it's probably been like social media people who have been like, because my accountant will say some things and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, what jargon are you spewing to me?
Well, basically what we need to, I'm like,
excuse me.
Oh, do you know the word? I think you said dividends. Get out of my sight. What are you talking about?
I literally said to my accountant, I was like, how can I unregister my company?
No, those scammers be doing that. They be making money and dissolving.
He was like, well, and I said, because he's calling me, just so you know, you got VAT. I'm like, every time.
My back.
I just paid this tax the other day. Why are you telling me? I said, can we just get rid of the company? Because what's going on?
It is a lot. Having an accountant, but like, we still have to be involved.
Right.
Like, there's people out there that will give their accountant 100%, but it's not. Don't ever do that. It's not wise, you know. And like, as a woman, you want to understand your finances.
100%,
I want to be involved. I want to know what's going in. I want to know the taxes. But call blind.
Boy,
it's a handful.
Every day. I'll be on holiday. I remember the time I was on holiday in Ghana, maybe like 2 years ago now, and it was like January. I was just sitting at the poolside. All I saw was a message from my account. Zalika, this amount needs to be paid on this day. I was like, but why would you do this to me?
Like, why are we doing this?
I'm on holiday.
Like, mate, that taxman doesn't wait for no one.
Right.
In the middle of a shot, you're getting that.
Right. And he's there telling me, and I'm thinking, but why did you need to tell me this now?
Away from me.
Because this is this is actually after I get back, and you know this. So why would you tell me this now? It's so rude. It was such a reality check. Oh,
no,
so
it is a lot. And then when you see those things, let me see a comma. I'm going to bed.
Oh my God. Literally.
I want to go to sleep now, and I just don't do this. But no, I agree.
I would say for me, people that I in the beginning, maybe not necessarily financially, but creatively, and how she kind of built her empire would be like Issa Rae. Like, I look at Issa Rae and I think you literally started off as somebody on YouTube. Now you've got a whole like production company. You're producing films. You've got wine company, restaurants, all of these things. So I look at women like that, and and that for me is inspiration. I look up to people like that, as inspiration. Whether or not I literally take their advice is another situation.
But good to know that they're there.
But it's good to know that they're there.
Completely.
And when you need to go and you know it can be done, because you can see them and you're like, okay.
And I think like that's the same. I feel like, unfortunately, no shade to any family listening, there's not been any sort of financial people I've really like looked towards when it comes to a family wise, because I feel like I've never really looked at my family, but you're great at saving money. Let me learn from you. It's very much first to the family to do certain things, and now I'm carrying the weight on my shoulders. But not so much in a bad way. But I do like how there's other people in the media to look up to and see what they've done. You mentioned Issa Rae. You mentioned the young lady that came in, did radio. And I was speaking to you guys earlier about this girl on TikTok. She's American. She's very young, and her name's Clark. And just like watching her, and she's going to uni, she's moving out, and she's got her head on her shoulders. It's just nice to see that like women as a community, there's so many people that we can look to as like allies. Like, even if you don't have family members to look forward to or look up to, like, there's other people that you can take heed from and take note from. So I feel like, what is that? What's that? Me and a bloody saying. Like, you're like,
you coming in with a quote today, honey.
Like, what is that? You're like one conversation away from like a trillionaire, or like one meeting, or do you know what I mean? Like, there's always someone.
Like
what is it?
It's like 7 degrees of separation.
Yeah,
but
like
nowadays I think it's even less than that.
Yeah,
definitely.
And also depending on the spaces you're in as well.
Yeah.
And even if you're not in certain spaces, the world has become so small. And as you're saying, things like TikTok and all the
there's free game everywhere.
There's free game everywhere.
There's free
Before,
game.
you might have to be in certain rooms to hear certain conversations or understand certain things. Or like you say, be around certain types of people. But now your information is being given freely. I wanted to know, how does mental health factor into your definition of success, from like managing your social battery to rebuilding yourself? How do you find the balance?
Yeah, no, it's us.
These questions are we're really like talking today.
Giving therapy session.
A deep dive.
I think your mental health is probably one of the biggest factors to success, because as we were saying earlier, success comes from living the life you want to live, and but also being very content within yourself. And I think if your mental health isn't great, I think it would be very difficult to be content or happy or satisfied with yourself. So I think for me, social battery for one. My social battery can dwindle quickly. Boy.
Oh, wow.
Me too.
Is it all of us?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, literally.
I think
Thank
because we do
God.
very speaky jobs.
Yeah.
So like we're constantly talking. So
And
it's
we're
like,
technically personalities as well.
Yeah.
So when you
To be
go
honest.
out, even if you go to an event,
Yeah.
you're
It's
working.
work.
Like a lot of your friends will be like, oh, you went to such a cool event last night. Oh, you must
it
have
was
so
work.
much
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
And you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's work. They
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
get it that it's
'Cause it
work.
looks so
but
glamorous.
yeah, because if I go in there now with a stink attitude,
They're gonna be like, she ain't working.
yeah,
for
like,
me.
yeah, Zeze was off, or Zeze, I went up to Zeze and she was bare. And it's like, no, I got to go
You
in
have
there
to
and
be
be like,
on
hi,
all
you
the
good?
time.
It's work. Yeah.
It's work. That's
It
why I
is.
just do one round and sometimes slip out. Out, you know what I mean?
You gotta
Yeah.
protect yourself in terms of like, yeah, your social battery,
Mm-hmm.
your own mental. What you can offer is you can't give. You gotta
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
have some for yourself as well. So I think it's important, like knowing, especially the work that we do. I have like a rule, which I've only employed in the last couple of years, because I think after COVID, like going back outside was a bit like, oh man, how do you do this? Like,
Yeah,
damn,
yeah.
okay, cool. So now I have a rule. If I'm going out somewhere, event wise, I'm either going to take a picture,
Okay.
I'm going to speak to somebody,
Mm-hmm,
like either new or reconnect,
Mhm.
or I'm going for like, what's the other reason? Like I'm going to be in the room.
Right.
Like
Okay,
there's certain
fine.
places that you should go to because you should be seen here.
Yeah,
like, it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Or otherwise, I'm going for support. Like if it's someone's
Yeah.
like birthday or like album
Yeah.
launch or whatever, I'm going for support.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just like a thing, I'm like, you know what? For my own sanity, for my own thing, I have to either check one or two of these boxes, and then if I get those things, I can go home. I'm complete.
Right.
So if I go somewhere and I'm not feeling great, I'm not feeling like, oh, like I have to go and be on. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go and reconnect with that person that I know is gonna be there, so I can get that link again, or like meet somebody new. And I've done my
You've done your
done
big
my
three.
job for today. Like,
Yeah.
I've done what I needed to do from this outing or this scenario, because it is difficult when
Yeah.
we go back to these places and you want to like have a good time, but then also you've got to be on job.
Yeah.
So I find that's my balance with myself.
I'm very much like you as well.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Necessary.
Because you will will end up going to every event
Yeah.
and you'll just burn yourself
Oh,
out.
burnout is not a good position
But
to be
then
in.
it's weird because, like you're saying, because there's when you're a personality as well, presenter, there is that toss up of making sure you are always at the right place at the
Yeah.
right time.
And a
because
level of
it's-
professionalism.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
And being in the right places at the right time is part of the job,
Yep.
is part of almost staying current as
Yeah.
well. And you're always kind of, like we're saying, we're freelancers, so you have to weigh up, okay, should I miss out on too many events? Like someone, what was it the other day? I saw something and I was like, oh, how come I didn't get invited to that? So I messaged my partner, like, and I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, can you find out when this premiere is going to be? When online it had already happened. So I said to my publisher, oh, how comes we didn't, and she's like, oh, they said that because you didn't come to the last one, they didn't extend it this time because they
Yeah.
had invited you. And then for the same reason, I was mentally,
done. Yeah.
social
Yeah.
battery was
Yeah.
gone. I was like, I would love to be there, but I know if I go there, my attitude's not going to
Yeah,
be right.
yeah.
It's a lot. I've just finished filming. I'm going to have to rush here. But look at that. Then they've said, well, because you didn't come the last time.
They're not even taking that into consideration.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we have to that as well. Your mental, you're then constantly worrying about being relevant and
Yeah.
staying relevant and not missing out on things. So even that with your mental,
Yeah.
you'll be going to events, sometimes you're tired, but then you have to have a conversation with yourself like, you know what, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
For sure.
I can't be burning myself out just to be at every event. But that does play with your mental.
Yeah.
But for me, I think I do, regardless of all of that, I do try to make sure I have my me time.
Yes.
So if I've had, like when I did Brits and I had radio, so I'm on a high. Then on the Monday, I just make sure it's me time.
Yeah.
Like in my house, nothing. If I want to stay in bed all day,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
staying
yeah,
in bed
yeah,
all day. No one can make me feel lazy. No one can make me feel like I've just done a whole load of that, And I think also that is important for you to do as well in this space, or any space actually, especially entertainment. You're constantly around like a lot of noise, and I sometimes would feel, especially if you live on your own and like you're single and whatever, you go from like a place of real noise, like a lot of noise, and everyone kind of giving you loads of attention, like, oh, can we talk, and then you go back to like silence. That used to really like mess with my head, because I'd go home and it would just be, Dave don't bark, just comes to the top of the stairs, wags his tail, no, like this, he doesn't. I've never had to be like, Dave, be quiet, you know, like when you see those dogs just like, no, sometimes I'm like, Dave, are you there, are you here? So I go from noise to silence. And then that would really mess up my mental, and also not being able to kind of share things with people when you got home, because you don't even realize, like you'll go home, you'll speak to Dan, you'll be like, oh my god, this happened, I'll go home and I'm like,
so Dave,
silence. Okay, I just did something really dope today, and I can't tell anyone about my dope day or share my experience. So even that, sometimes early on in my career, that would have a really like effect on me of, oh my god, I'm accomplishing so much, but I don't have anyone to share it with.
So it's like an element of like loneliness as well.
So sometimes I would be on a really high, and then the next morning I'd wake up crying, because I'd just be like, what's going on, because everything seems to be going great here, but I'm lonely. So you just have to find like a good balance, and that's how I've kind of tried to keep my mental and have good people around you.
I feel like the whole like community and like having a village is a very big thing. Like even with me, I'm so like, not even like hellbent, but like I very much have the same friends that I had from when I was 12 years old.
Yeah, me too.
You know, because it's one thing, like I love meeting new people, I love making new friends, but I feel like it's important to have like a solid sisterhood around you that you can always like, okay, so you know what I was like before I was in this situation, you know what I was like now I'm in this situation, so everything I'm telling you, you know that these are my real feelings, so I can count on you to give me solid sound advice. And I hope and I appreciate that you're not judging me or looking at me or perceiving me in some kind of way, like, you know, like the real Indiyah. So that's one thing that's helped me. I feel like it's been tough. Like there's a lot of things that's like happened with me like mentally that like as a black woman I had been like shy to disclose. So like recently I had been diagnosed with ADHD, and that was something I was very like up in the air about talking about, because I didn't want that to be a factor of my career or the factor of whether I get booked for jobs or just a factor in everything, because I feel like being a black woman we have a lot of things already against us. So to go and chuck in another thing, it's just something I'd rather not tell you about. But obviously I'm now in a position where like it's okay, it doesn't define me, and I feel like it made a lot of things clearer in my life as to why certain things happened. Like I started seeing things happening in my adult life, even in this industry, that affected me, and I was like, oh, that happened in secondary school. You know? So I feel like it's more of an understanding, but I think it's sort of like checking into your mental, finding out if there is something wrong, if you're not feeling okay, therapy, speaking to people. I feel like delegating everything that's in your mind, like speaking to people, therapy, don't feeling like you have to like carry everything by yourself, because 100%. Our industry is tough,
brutal.
It is brutal.
It's so brutal.
It doesn't even matter what area you've come from, reality TV, radio, TV already. Like we are under so much scrutiny every day. It would be impossible for anyone in this industry to have a pitch perfect brain, you know? So I think it's important to just be very gentle and delicate with yourself and don't beat yourself up.
Delicate, I love
delicate.
And
it's because we're flowers.
We're flowers.
Can we be a flower? I'm a flower. And you touched on something really important about just being a black woman as well.
That is
you can't even be vulnerable. Like if you're vulnerable, it's like, why are you crying for? Like, what's wrong with you? It's like,
like you see this word I want to disregard. I'm not a strong black woman.
No,
I'm not strong. Actually, I'm a damsel in distress. I'm
a damsel in distress.
Help me.
Literally. I don't want to be strong.
No,
I
don't
so
want to be
many times.
Superwoman.
I don't want to be Superwoman.
But also, like. Yeah, I don't want to be strong, but also you can be strong and you can also be vulnerable at the same time. It's like, I can be like,
I can fend for myself.
I can go to work, but also like,
it's their definition of strong.
Like we don't have
like their world's definition of strong for black women and for women across the board, but definitely for black women especially. It's like, I don't like that. Just because I'm crying does not mean I'm not strong. But the moment now you're a little bit vulnerable, it's like, oh, we'll get your act together. And it's like,
I thought it was Zeze Millz.
Right.
before we wrap this thing up and get on out of here, I feel like we've had a grown chat.
It was a big girl talk today.
Big girl stuff.
It wasn't hot girls.
I feel
Big
like
girl.
it's big girl talk.
This season was hot girl.
Serious.
This is rebranded.
this is
big
like-
girl
Oh, sorry,
talk.
we have accountants. and stuff.
We are talking about
Grown.
things that matter.
Financial, mental health.
In all
Yeah.
seriousness, we're
It's
big
serious.
grown ups. What do you think about your legacy?
Ooh.
Oh,
Right?
God. Thank
Your
you.
legacy,
Just chuck us in there.
what you want to leave behind,
Oh.
how you are creating space for others at the table.
When we have these questions, what happens is sometimes you don't want to toot your own horn because
Yeah.
you don't want to be like, oh, but what I will say is that I do feel like my legacy will be that I believe that I started a new kind of lane within UK culture of sharing opinions. When I first started sharing my opinion and sitting down in front of that camera in a seat like this, and just there wasn't really anyone that was doing it. That's why everyone compared me to Wendy Williams, because there wasn't anyone that was kind of, and that's why it was such a stir, because there was no one that was calling out rappers and saying this and saying that and giving their opinion and da-da-da-da-da. I was one of the first to do it. So I think, and at the time everyone was like, why are you giving your opinion? Now everyone gives their opinion.
Everyone gives their opinion.
And they'll give their opinion. Before it would be like you didn't want to give your opinion on your peers because we were so close to each other. Now everyone's giving their opinion on their peers. And I think also for young black girls as well, I think, you know, it was nice to see someone that looked like them. Even like a lot of the people that do shows now, they will come and tell me and they'll be like, because I saw you do it, I realised that it was possible.
Yeah.
Even just because it was just like, I decided to do it on my own with the help of Andy from Trend Central. But we both like, said like, okay, if no one wants to give me something, boom, let's set up a camera and whatever happens, happens. And that was, and I think through doing that, it made other people be like, do you know what? We can all do it. And we can all set up our own camera. Not saying I'm the reason for everything. So I think that would be my legacy, is that I created a little lane.
Legacy for me, what do I want to leave behind? I think in my radio career so far, I'm very proud of what I've done on the show that I've been doing. I find being a part, I told you guys before in the last chat that we had, but being like a part of somebody's day, just like a small little part that brings them like a little comfort or a little joy, XYZ. I know that when I was young, I listened to the radio. Like I have so many memories of what people said.
Yeah.
What uniform I was wearing, where I was going, so many little things that I remember as a 30-year-old woman now, that I'm very grateful and hopeful that some people have that about me, that I've given them like a little giggle or a little joy or a little fun or whatever on their journeys as part of their day. So that's what I hope to leave behind in terms of radio, just someone that was like a comforting voice, that was a trustworthy voice, and that made you have a good, like, felt good. DJing as well, I think as someone who is in the dancehall space, I think as a woman, I'm growing more into not giving a heck, because I think music in general is quite male and dominated, like most industries, to be honest. Dancehall as well, when it comes to DJs, promoters, even artists as well, to be honest. It's very male heavy, but there is myself and a lot of women who are doing so excellent in dancehall and reggae. So like Becca, Izzy as well. There's so many people, and there are, I will say, a lot of men that are very helpful towards us, which is really nice, because you hear horror stories about men all the time. But yeah, I think that as well is something I'm proud of as well. Being in a space that is heavily male can be quite intimidating, because I know you Jamaicans are a bit scary sometimes. They want to get the cuss you at any moment. You're like, yeah, and still like holding my own and doing what I love to do. So that's, I think that's me.
I was hoping you guys wouldn't get here. I have no idea.
But also your story from the last time when we had our Hot Girls Talk, your journey about how you started radio, and that's inspiring to young people. Do you get what I mean? Like, you worked hard, you started off at the community radios, you did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a journey. That's like a realistic, relatable journey. But I think those things are like 1 in 100 chance.
Yeah.
Whereas you got a realistic journey and your growth has been a beautiful growth to watch. So that is inspiring. That is your legacy.
Yeah. And I think you defo have left, you have your community that love you. You know, you're mentioning like having a comforting voice on the radio. Like, I remember like listening to you and Rob, and then I remember you went to Jamaica, and then I stood in for you, and I was so scared because I was like, this is Shayna's home.
Right,
this is not my house. And like, even I'm like, hi guys, I'm covering for Shayna, so she's just in Jamaica, like she's coming back.
Don't show me, like, please stay locked in. You know the one, didn't hear Shayna's voice. No.
I remember growing up, I used to listen to Mr. Jam all the time when I was in the cafe.
Yeah.
I remember one time Miss Jam was ill, and so I was thinking, who the hell is this? So like, I know what that felt like.
No,
when I was covering Shayna, I was like, she's in Jamaica. I promise, she's coming back. And like, everyone's texting, where's Shayna? Like, they're still being nice, but like, where is Shayna? Well, she's in Jamaica, I promise. So like, I do think you've done a really good job in like making your listeners feel comfort when you clock on and they're like, oh, yay, listening to Shayna. Like, they love to hear you. Like, you know, I think it's a great thing that you've done.
Thanks.
For me, it's a little bit different because I feel like I've had a little different kind of journey when it comes to being in this industry. Like, for me, it happened very quickly, and it's still something that I'm working on. But I always look back, yes, I came from a TV show, I went on Love Island. That's never anything that I will ever sort of like, oh, I went on Love Island, because call it a spade, if it wasn't for that TV show, half the people wouldn't know who I am today. But I've worked my ass off to make people know who I am. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I came out of Love Island. The TV industry came towards me. I took it with both hands. I remember when ITV were like, we just want to try you on After Sun. I was like, okay. First live show, no training. They sat me on that couch. You're live in 5, 4,
I know, it's so scary, right? You're just like, what the hell?
I was like, what? And then, I don't know, like, I just locked in and I loved every single second of it. And from then, I was like, yeah, TV's for me. I want to host, I want to chat, and I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, I'd love to say that I opened the door for certain black women on reality TV that look like me. Being young, being from South London, being the kind of girl that I got my props for, knowing how to take care of myself in a certain situation. But that's just how I am. I've always been raised to know how to look after my hair because it's mine. I've always been into makeup. I've always been into presenting myself very nicely. And I feel like I've shown that in other areas where I work. So I feel like with my legacy, it's kind of like, not sort of like, what's that, not like diamond in the rough kind of vibe, but like I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I'm from South London, regular girl, Jamaican parents, went on a TV show, and I did it, and I didn't look back, and I didn't let any of my sort of like insecurities get to me, because I remember there was a point I wasn't going to go on Love Island because I had a huge acne breakout. This was like 1 week before I went, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going in. I have a huge spots all over my back, on my face. I'm not going. Like, I'm just not doing it. And then I said, just clock in. Like, you went to a whole interview. These people have not chosen you because you have spots on your chest and your back. You clearly, they like something about you. They either like the way you speak, something that is radiating. So just don't be so fickle. I know it's a very fickle TV show. People are in bikinis, breast and booty, but it's more to that. And this is your chance to show people what you've been working for. I remember this like it was yesterday. When I hit 10K, I said, this year I'm going to hit 100K. Then how I'm going to do it, I went in that villa that year and came out with $1 million.
Clack it! Clack it!
So it's like, like you have to like just don't let fickle things get you down. And if you have a plan, stick to it. And I hope that I can be a testimony to just sort of like, if you want it, go get it, and it will happen.
Sometimes when we talk about legacy, it doesn't need to be like, oh my God, I built this building. And it's simple things like that, because we all know when we watch Love Island, we're worried about the representation. And unfortunately, as a black woman, when you do go on these shows, even though it shouldn't be, you are now representing all black women.
And it's
It literally is that. Like, when I did BB, the same thing. It's like, I knew I was now repping for every single black woman. I better carry myself. So just that simple thing of you looking after your hair, you doing your makeup, black women, that was enough for us. That's enough for us to be.
Don't be fooled, by the way. My hair was yam out when I came with them tapes. But every day I was slicking that pony. I said, there's no way
I'm going to be the
you
one.
are not catching me slipping.
Right, but it's so simple because when we don't have, when there's little to none representation, little
Latch
tiny
on
things
to anything.
Yeah.
is enough for
Yeah.
us to be proud and enough for us to be like, she represents us. That's what you know what I mean? Simple things. It doesn't need to be. Sometimes legacy is just as small as seeing someone that looks like you.
Yeah,
That's
for
it.
sure. Yeah.
And one thing I will say as
well.
well about you as well, since you've come out, one thing about Indiyah, she's going to work. And
Yeah.
you're going to work. Yeah, you're going to work and you're going to get bookings, you're going to get jobs, but you're also going to work for them. Even hearing you speak about how after for the second Mobos, you like got training, you wanted to make sure that you was the best that you could be.
Yeah.
Because you wanted it. It was important to you.
And that's something I've never wanted. I've never wanted people to perceive me as someone that's just taking things.
Right.
Because I think it's so easy for people to say, oh, you went on a TV show, that's why you've got this, that's why you've got that. And it's like, well, no, actually.
Because where's everybody at? No, sorry.
No, do you know what I mean? But like, no shade. Like, I work because it's like, it's easy for you guys to now paint me with this brush and make it out like I've not worked for what I wanted. But I have because I want it.
Yeah, and also
you know?
people don't realise how many no's you have.
Oh my God, I've
How
had
many
so many
times you like
no's.
put yourself forward, or your team will reach out and be like, "Can she?"
Yeah,
and they'll be like, "No,
yeah.
sorry, we've done. Someone's already doing it."
Yeah.
Or you're like,
They're
"Oh,
like,
what about? No, sorry, we
No,
can't."
I've even had those nice little moments when I was on 10K and I was DMing certain brands for work. You don't want to work with me, but now you're in my DM saying,
Pull up.
"Oh, can we
Pull up.
swipe?"
Yeah,
and
right.
if I just scroll up, I
Sorry.
can see what I was begging
If you don't
for
deserve me at 10K, you don't deserve me at 1 mil. Thank you.
You've all done very well.
We're such
and
great
we'll
women.
do
look
very
at
well.
us.
Look at us. No, women are amazing. I think we
Women
have
are
a
very
lot to
amazing.
be like proud of.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have great legacy, and this is not the end of our legacy.
No,
No.
exactly.
like this is just
that's-
the
No.
start.
Just
you know?
start.
But even if it was,
hey,
we've done a good job.
That's true. Even if I clocked out tomorrow, I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't really
If I
know.
clocked out tomorrow, it's be like brilliant.
I
It's
did
been
what
great.
I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Happy
isn't
with
that
that.
nice?
Isn't that nice, ladies?
That's really nice to know though.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
I
Clocked out
decided,
right now.
you'll be.
Yeah.
They'll be
Content, like,
nice.
you know
They'll
what?
be- yeah,
Yeah.
I did all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well
good
done.
one.
Yeah.
That's
See.
a good way to end. All right, thanks for watching this episode of Hot Girl Talks. It has been a lot of fun today. We've done some real grown girl stuff.
We have.
Global Play is the official app for Capital XTRA, the home of everything that we do.
Yeah, so you can check in the Hot Girls Talks where me, Shayna, Indiyah get it together and talk about hot girl topics.
And make sure that you have it downloaded so you can watch back our whole chat and don't miss any moments.
Love ya.
Love ya.